right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Gorowski, and I'll be your host for today. Thanks for joining us on this October 10th. It has already been a really busy month. We have a ton more live events coming your way before Halloween hits and we make our way into November. This is our space exploration month. So all month long, we're connecting with astronauts and engineers and scientists from the Canadian Space Agency, from NASA, JPL, and other organizations. We have our Wild Hope events coming up towards the end of the month, looking at really exciting conservation projects from around the world. And we have virtual field trips, like our trip out to the coast of California to hang out with some elephant seals out on the coast and see what they're doing out on the beach, which should be pretty fun. If you head to exploringbytheseat.com, you can find all the events we have coming up and register to join them. So we had a really cool series on the go with Ocean Wise, diving deep into our oceans to start the school year. We've learned about really curious creatures. We've learned about ways that we can help the ocean. And to wrap that series up today, we are going to talk about our Artful Oceans, patterns in motion. So we have Julia Langlois joining us today. She is education coordinator with Ocean Wise, and we're going to explore the wild and wonderful patterns found in marine life and habitats. So let us get her in live with us right now, and let's get down to business. Hey, Julie, how are you?
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Good, good. It's great to have you hanging out live with us today. And, you know, Friday, what could be better than spending a little time exploring our ocean?
I would have to agree right there.
All right, perfect. Well, if you're tuning in with us via YouTube, don't be shy. Use the chat sidebar. Let us know where you're tuning in from. But for now, Julie, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited. This is probably one of my favorite sessions. We learn about art. We learn what inspires that, as well as we kind of dive into some of the patterns of the ocean. So welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the oceans galleries. So making sure that we can connect and make sure that nature is also an artist. So getting ready to explore patterns, shapes, colors, and the amazing world that lives beneath the waves. So like Joe said, my name is Julie, and I'm super excited to be here today. I wanted to start off by just clearing the fact that I have a favorite ocean animal. Maybe you do too. So please connect, put it in the chat if you can actually mention your favorite ocean creature that comes to mind instantly. Mine is the humpback whale. I've had a really amazing experience actually swimming with humpbacks, as well as I really like jellyfish, because as much as I learn about them, I still think they're really curious and really fascinating. So place it in the chat. What are your favorite animals? Give us a little connection here. But I am presenting today from Squamish. So this is in Canada. I'm delivering this session on the lands of the Coast Salish people and the Squamish First Nation. And by acknowledging where I am, I can acknowledge and commit to the shared responsibility to protect and preserve the lands and waters around me. Now, if you don't know where Squamish is, it's just a little bit north of Vancouver in Canada. But I do work for an amazing organization called Ocean Wise, and we're a nonprofit organization whose mission is to empower communities to take action to restore our world's ocean. So our ocean faces a variety of threats, and we're going to explore some of those today. But it also gives us life. So oxygen, water, food, livelihood, and beauty. And today we're going to really focus on that beauty. Now, let's dive in to our ocean gallery. So everyone, can we get started today? If you have a piece of paper and a pen, go grab that really quickly. I'm going to do a little doodle, and I challenge you to do a little ocean doodle yourself. So whether it's, I'm going to draw a seal because that's the first thing that came to my mind. If you want to draw a seal, a duck, I'm looking at the StreamYard platform here. If you want to draw anything that comes to mind when you think of the ocean, now is the time. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm taking out my Sharpie here. Handy dandy Sharpie. I am not the best at drawing. I'm not the best at doodling in any way, but I'm going to give it my best shot, see how it turns out. Little quick drawing doodle. Ooh. Is it going to look like a seal? I don't know. Not sure. But I could tell you that the main difference between seal and sea lions are their fin placement and their ears. So I'm going to go ahead and draw what I think is going to look like a seal here. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Putting my Sharpie away. This was the quickest doodle of my life, but I think it turned out okay. There we go, everyone. So draw your favorite ocean animal as we commit to diving into this gallery today. Now, the ocean inspires a lot of artists, whether that is wave movement, wave patterns, coral reef, sunsets, or even sports on the ocean. We certainly have a lot of inspiration that comes from it. But for example, colors, full of shapes and colors. So making sure that the patterns that we see under the waves are expressed over the waves in art. Now, you can see that this is just a random fish in a habitat. This is their home. But to us, we think it's a beautiful home. It's not a log cabin. It's not necessarily a building or an apartment. This is art to us. This is beauty. Now, I could also say that some creatures have a very, very interesting shape and pattern. This is a nudibranch, everyone, and they're actually common to take in any venoms or whatever they find in their diet, they can hone in as their own predatory response or defense mechanism. So this one being a very interesting creature. And the last one here, I really like this. I drew a seal. This is certainly the one that I love the most. Some artists even see it from the shorelines or the coastal regions and draw or paint what we see these species pop in. Now, certain beautiful corals have the best patterns ever and the most vibrant colors that we can see in the animal kingdom. So maybe this inspires you. But we have colors like blue, turquoise, teal, sunset, orange, seafoam, navy, lavender, and they're commonly found in a lot of different species. So one thing about these species is that they can actually hide in camouflage. So can you, and there's a little challenge for you, find some of these species are marine, some of them are not, but they're all using an adaptation called camouflage to hide within these ecosystem and their patterns. So let's find out. Number one, whoa, very cool. Can anyone tell me what animal you can see in number one? Maybe not. I'm going to get you to take a close look here and find out, can you spot all 5 of these different animals? I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Now, you may or may not have guessed it, but the first one is certainly a seal. And you can see it. I'm going to bring my laser pointer here. You can see it right here within the rocks. So this is a really good way to camouflage in a really rocky shoreline and usually covered by a layer of salt. Number 2, right here. You can see these in the Arctic, actually, and they're kind of like a little mouse or weasel. And these photos are quite amazing. They're using camouflage to hide in their ecosystem. Number 3, can anyone tell me what number 3 is? You can shout it out loud in your classroom. Indeed, it is an owl. So this owl, you can see eyes, ears, and beak right in the middle. This owl is so commonly known to camouflage with really thick and coarse bark. My number 4 is an Arctic bird. So you can see that just the little beak and eyes are peeking through. And number 5, you can see an Arctic fox shedding its Arctic layer, its really big white fur coat in the summer. So I want to come up with a little word storm here. So when you think of the ocean, what comes to mind? The ocean's beauty, maybe that means corals. Maybe it means waves. Or maybe a last little word in here. I personally love dolphins, so I'm going to throw that word into the word storm. But create a little word storm with your classroom today. All right, another really great master of camouflage is the octopus. And I want you to look so closely because this is probably one of the coolest videos ever taken about how quickly these octopus can change colors almost in a blink of an eye. So let's look closely. And just like that, instantly camouflaged with its environment. And sprays off, absolutely. We can't get too close because they are definitely scared of us. And this is a defense mechanism. They don't want predators too close to them. They will swim away as fast as you can look. Now, octopus certainly inspire a lot of artists with their beautiful tentacles here and there. So marine inspiration, oh, I'm noticing a little typo there, but you can find whale tails in forms of metal structures. You can ask any artist what inspires them in the ocean. For example, maybe it's bringing music to the sea, painting music on beautiful art pieces. But you can certainly see that art is inspired all over. We certainly have other projects. Like if you had to pause and think what ocean art you can create in the classroom, think about what that would look like, what kind of project you would create. But there's also different platforms of art. It doesn't have to just be drawing or painting. It can also be in terms of music. So I'm going to go ahead. I want you guys to take out your ears as closely to the screen. Hopefully it doesn't impact you a little too much, but bring it as closely as you can. We're going to listen in on some ocean music that is created based off of certain patterns. Now, I'm sure you know this already, but these are beach waves, and certain artists use this type of repetition in creations. So I'm going to go ahead and show you next ocean music here. Now, these artists have used the ocean as patterns and sway to bring back their instruments through and through while they create music. But this is not the only thing that creates a sound in the ocean. So I really want you to take in and guess what sounds these belong to. So which animal belongs to this following sound? So it's a little game, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play them in order, and I would like you to come up in your mind with who this animal could be. Number 1. All right, number 1. Hopefully you know it. I'm going to play it again very quickly, but we're going to number 2. All right, number 3, going to number 3. Interesting. And number 4, let's see what we got. Wow, okay. So just based off of those, can you take a guess which animal each of these sounds belong to? a minute. Decide as a class. I will give you the answers in 3, 2, 1. So the first one was a dolphin. Second one, we have sea lions. The third one, trick question, I had to put it in there, was a pig. Land pig, of course. And the last one being a sea otter, which not many people recognize, but maybe you did. So nature is certainly an artist, and I want to make sure that we can actually bring up some of these really cool animal sounds, but also animal patterns. So first and foremost, I'm going to give you an easy one. It's not necessarily marine, but which item does this belong to? Now I'm taking a close magnifying lens to decide this pattern, but you can probably guess that this comes from a fruit, specifically an orange. Now, this is a really great pattern in nature, and we can identify it pretty quickly. Now, let's try this one. It's a little bit harder. Where do you think this pattern could be? I can give you a couple of seconds here. You can shout out your answers. Certainly trickier than the first one. All right, in 3, 2, 1. This is actually a monarch butterfly, everyone. So those specific patterns are it seems like scales on a fish. However, if we take a microscopic view at the butterfly wing, that's what it looks like. Shocker, I know. All right, let's take a closer look at this one. Where do you think this pattern lies in nature? A lot of people say this is also a fruit, but I can tell you it is not. It is not a blackberry. It is a dog's nose. And most people have seen this one, but will never, ever guess it right. That pattern is a dog's nose. All right, next one and last one here. Where have we seen this before? This pattern is commonly known. It is an ocean pattern. This is a seashell, everyone. And I think I actually lied. I have one more little game. Now, this one is probably the hardest one. It's something that we probably wouldn't recognize in our everyday life, but it's very, very interesting. I'll give you a hint. It is a type of skin, but from which animal? This is shark skin, everyone. So certainly you can find different patterns all over the animal kingdom, all over the ocean floor. Shark skin being a very, very interesting one. So we're going to take a little movement break here, and I'm going to show you some ways that artists have used animals to really create and to be inspired. Now, we're going back to the seal or the sea lion yoga. So this is sea yoga, everyone. So take a moment, get out of your chair. Whew. We're going to move our bodies with yoga. So if you can find a spot on the floor, great. If you cannot, that's okay. You can actually do most of these positions standing up. So let's see some of the ways that we can be inspired by animals. Now, our first position, hand up, big lean to the side, just like this sea lion. Ooh, very nice, very nice. All right, next position. Let's see what this sea lion has to say. Wow, okay, big bend and arch in our back. It's hard to do on a chair, not gonna lie. Oh, but it feels really good on your spine. All right, now my next sea lion is certainly presenting the other side. We need to balance out here. Ooh, other arm up and scattered. I know these positions are pretty cute. Very nice. Hold it, stretch it. All right, now my last position. Now, this is usually the best one in terms of students. This is the calming both shoulders down or just relax on a beautiful beach. Not a bad life they live, not a bad life they live. Now, one thing that we really want to highlight is the fact that these beautiful places, and everyone, you can now take a seat. Our yoga positions are done. But a couple of these things are changing. Now, I'll let you take a guess at what is changing in this ecosystem. I'm sure you're all screaming it out as I speak, but something is certainly changing, and it is the amount of plastic we're finding in our beaches, in our oceans, on our coastal regions. So it's time to solve a problem. It's time to solve the plastic problem. So what are things that we could do to keep garbage out of the ocean? I'll give you a couple minutes, but what are some key strategies that we can do to keep garbage out of the ocean? I'm going to tell you, there are certain ways that we can do this, but I'll come back to the end, loop around, because I do want to show you a couple things that people are doing that are inspired by the ocean. So the first one being a chef. A chef can choose sustainable seafood, can choose sustainable practices, and Oceanwise has a really cool logo to show you that. They can choose some recipes, or as a chef, you can even make your own recipes to include amazing seafood. We also have artists from all over the world, and I want you to bring a closer look at what these artists are doing. So some dancers are using the ocean as their stage. We have game designers that are using their abilities to create really, really impactful kelp games and conservation games. But I also have artists that are creating trash, taking trash out of the ocean and making it into treasure. So this artist specifically, called Mariah Reading, she takes a lot of plastic and things that aren't supposed to be and turns them into murals and really, really cool pieces of art. Now, there are other artists that use their art. This is an artist, a mural in Vancouver, Canada. So again, bringing conservation to the forefront as their form of artistry. But there are also careers that you can do, like restoring our beautiful oceans with just making sure that you can understand. So divers see a lot of really cool things at the bottom of the ocean, like this. But I could also tell you that divers see a lot of really interesting things, like beautiful turtles. But there are things that aren't supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean, kind of like this motorcycle. So recycling and understanding your human impact and what is getting put into our ocean is a really big part of it. So I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to search and find everything that doesn't belong. And this will be the last little bit of our presentation today, everyone. So can you find all the items? I'm going to give you a number. There are 7 things for you to find that do not belong in this ocean floor. Can you find them all? And by cleaning up our ocean, we can certainly help out all of the things that we learned today, all of the species, and all of the beauty of the ocean to remain in the ocean. 7 items. Have you found them all? 7 items, starting with the net. I'm going to take that away. We don't need it. I'm also seeing a rubber ducky. Take that away. We do not need it. Has anyone seen the boots yet? The boots right here at the top of the kelp bed. Goodbye. We have cell phones commonly lost off of boats all the time. So this cell phone right here, taking it away. We also have plastic bottles. I'm going to take that one right gone. I don't want to see it in the ocean ever again. Now the last two items are a little difficult. Have you found them? My last one being, I've got sunglasses at the top there with the kelp, gone, disappear. They fall into the water quite a lot. When I'm swimming, I always see a pair of sunglasses at the bottom. And last but not least, in this school of fish, now this one was my most complicated, you see a plastic spoon. So ways to help the ocean are certainly the fact that you can eat sustainable seafood. You can learn and support, and you can take things out of the ocean. If you see it on the beach, make sure to just put it in a garbage bag where it belongs. And tell your friends and family what you learned today. But that is going to be the end of my program, everyone. So thank you for Waves of Change, for funding some of our programs. Thank you so much. As well as if you want to create more art, you can actually scan this QR code and create a digital e-card. So a lot of students have done this, and it's made really good ocean conservation work. For examples, some of these students. So committing to act is certainly the best way that we can all change. But if you want to just find out what ocean animal you are, scan this QR code. It is a really cool quiz, and it tells you what type of personality you would be in the ocean today. So this is the end of my program. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you guys want any answers to any of your ocean questions, this is the time. Joe, I'll let you step back in.
All right, Julie, thanks for that great presentation. It's pretty clear that the ocean is an inspiration for all forms of art, as you could see from that presentation. As a diver myself, it's pretty much my favorite place to be, is diving beneath the ocean. And I have a cool picture here I'm going to share that reminded me, one of the pictures you just shared reminded me of this picture. So I'm going to see if I can find the right picture. There we go. This is me on a bike. I know sometimes people throw garbage in lakes and rivers and the oceans, but this is a man-made lake and it's there on purpose. So this is a lake where we go to train sometimes for different diving certifications. So they have platforms and other interesting things for divers to explore and mess around with. So this was a new sport called scuba biking or cycling, but it's not easy. So I don't think it's going to be on.
Joe, can I ask, when you're scuba cycling, do you tend to use up more of your oxygen in the tank?
100%. The deeper you are, the colder the water, the more active you are, the more oxygen you're going to use when you're diving.
Absolutely. Well, that is fascinating. And I love the fact that there's purposeful and there's intent to training underwater, but there's also things that really we just throw in the water for no reason at all. Yeah. And that's the stuff that we're going to have to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, the first question I have for you is, do you think that art inspired by the ocean can change people's opinions, can change people's minds about conservation and taking better care of our ocean?
I think so. Well, that mural that I showed you in Vancouver, a lot of my friends have said that is their favorite mural in all of the city. So many people resonate with what they see. And because we have a high populous count of octopus in this region, a lot of my friends have seen it diving or just on the coast and sometimes at the aquarium as well. So people love to see animals in artistic spaces. And that's something that is really, really powerful. If you think something's cute, you're probably going to want to protect it. If you think something's really dangerous, you want to protect it. If you think that something has the ability to really change your mind, you're certainly going to use it as an artist to create change.
All right. Very cool. I'm glad you brought up the octopus because those are one of my favorite things to see when I'm diving. Where was I? I was off the coast of Australia, and they're so curious and they're so smart and inquisitive that I almost lost my GoPro camera to one that got a hold of my GoPro camera and did not want to give it back. It thought, this is pretty cool. And I don't know, maybe I want to take some selfies or take some pictures, but it took a little bit of convincing, some gentle withdrawing of the GoPro to get it back, to get those suckers to release.
I thought it was a new toy.
My GoPro back. It was pretty cool. Okay, so what is your favorite animal, your favorite inspiration for when you're doing something art-wise?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have a huge fascination with the humpback whale because they're such large, not the largest whale, but because they're such large creatures. Every time I go on a boat on the ocean and see one jump out of the water, it really fascinates me. And sometimes I get so I get so close that it just jumps out right next to the boat and it splashes the entire crew and everyone starts laughing. So I think that right now, that's the one thing I love to draw. But as you can see, Joe, I apparently really love to draw seals.
It's pretty good. I could tell that's a seal if someone showed me that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The dimensions might be a little off, but I'm trying.
All right. This class in Toronto says that they always hear things like, I'm one person, I can't make a difference. What would you say to something like that?
Oh, we hear it all the time, every single day. And now I'm going to say, I am also one person, but one person makes a really, really big difference. And I know that it sounds cheesy, and I know that you hear it all the time. But if I collect just one bag of garbage from the rivers, the streams, that's so much. That's so much plastic and trash that doesn't end up in the ocean. And if everyone did that, we wouldn't have any plastic in the ocean. So it's really the fact that even if you convince one friend to do it with you, or if you do it alone, it's really making a change. You might not hear it on the news, but it certainly feels good when you go to bed at night knowing that you committed to that change.
Yeah. And it certainly makes a difference to that albatross that doesn't feed a bottle cap to its baby, or that sea turtle that doesn't eat a plastic bag because it looks like a jellyfish.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can actually show you a couple cool things. If you guys have time, I have really cool animals here. So right here, I have a moon snail shell, which again is a very large snail, but we can see that once there's no snail in this one, but you can see that once this animal, this certainly has different diets, and microplastics are now part of that diet, as well as you can see big. This is a false killer whale jaw. And you can see that even large creatures are detecting microplastics in some of their diets. So, as much as we can clean, these animals are super resilient. They will adapt, and they have adapted for years and years and years based off of human impact. So, it's just us changing our behavior.
All right. So, being out on the West Coast, what is it like when you visit the beaches on the West Coast? Do you see things washing up from faraway shores? What are you seeing on the beaches?
Yeah, when I actually walk on the beaches here, there are things from all over the world. It is so fascinating, but certain currents bring in things from Japan, certain things bring in we have things from North America, obviously, but we have probably found things from every single country on every single planet, which is really, really interesting to know that the people on the other side of the world have an impact on my home. Now, this is the coolest thing. I found a Japanese buoy when I was walking around, which a fishing buoy is a fishing buoy. We see it all the time. But when we find different cultures and languages on things, that's really, really interesting because we know where they came from as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know some students are probably thinking, oh, well, okay, we collect all that plastic. What are we supposed to do with it? there's a lot of really cool companies out there that are turning that ocean plastic into rugs, into shoes, into, this is one of my favorites. Let me see if I can get it here, into skateboards. So this is a really cool company called Borreo out in Chile. And so they collect used fishing nets. So they have incentives to get the fishermen to bring them their old nets instead of them ending up into the ocean. And then they're making them into these skate decks and wheels. And then this skateboard is pretty much entirely made of recycled fishing nets, which is really, really cool. So there's all
This is amazing
that ocean plastic can be turned into, and that's pretty artistic as well. It's a pretty cool looking board. It's got some cool designs on the wheels. So that is some art taken from material that would have ended up in our oceans.
Absolutely. And you can even do that project yourself. You can go collect and you can go cut up. You can create mosaics. So we see a lot of schools doing that, and it's impactful. It's super, super cool. We've had a school that actually created a life-size, huge sea lion based off of ocean trash that they found. So they just started gluing little bits and pieces, and at the end of the year, they had this huge structure.
Yeah. And just to highlight another class's story, we had a class, I don't remember exactly where they were from. I believe they were somewhere in the US, and they took, those plastic rings that are on 6-packs of like pop and drinks and things like that. So they collected a bunch of those. They colored them. They put them in the oven for like 10 seconds. So they got really hard and shriveled up. And then they made them into jewelry. They sold them at lunchtime in their school, these little brooches and necklaces and things. And they sent over $1,000 to a place called the Toucan Rescue Ranch. They raised that money from recycling and reusing that plastic. So there's all kinds of cool things you can do with those materials. So that's another story that I like to share.
That is incredible. See, everybody has an idea. They flourish that idea and it makes positive change. I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Joe.
All right. Very cool. Well, we have time to maybe squeeze in one or two more questions. So if you are tuning in via YouTube, don't be shy and use that chat sidebar. But let's talk a little bit about surfing. So surfers use the ocean a lot. And I'm wondering, what in your part of the world, what do you see in that community? How do they give back and how do they try to help the ocean?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. There's a couple surf breaks in my home, which is really, really lovely. But you could also see that surfing culture, they know that the ocean is there for them and that supports their passion. So you can see most surfers will actually take out any garbage that it comes, and they actually speak really actively about the ocean. So instead of holding their words and hearing people or seeing people, they really, really do create quite an impact as the surfing culture, because they really want to see the sport that they love thrive. And that's hard to do when there's a lot of change in the ocean. So if you want to keep something that you love alive and flourishing, then certainly speak about it. Talk to anybody that's listening and make difference just by talking or by taking a picker and bringing some garbage home in your truck when you're coming home from your sport. That's a really, really cool thing to do.
Yeah. So Julie, last question. Students are always interested in what inspires people, what leads them to their careers and their passion. So where do you think your passion for the ocean came from?
Ooh, I have to be very honest with that one. It's my grandfather and my dad. They were fishermen through and through. So they brought me on every single water pathway that you could probably imagine, from rivers to lakes to little ponds to the ocean. So that's where I got inspired, is through my family. And that's a really, really powerful thing, because as soon as you see the amount of fish when you're when you're a young kid, and then when you see them as an adult and it's changed significantly, that's something that I've seen in my lifetime. And I really, really, really feel inspired by that.
All right, very cool. Well, Julie, a huge shout out to you and to Ocean Wise as well. Thank you so much for doing this series for us. We love doing these connections. We love sharing the ocean with classrooms across Canada, and of course to all the US classrooms who like to tune in and join as well. You're always welcome. And yeah, I mean, our oceans are so beautiful. They inspire so many people, even if you're landlocked and the ocean might feel far away. Some of the food you eat, some of the products you use, the weather is all influenced by our ocean. We can't escape it. We need a healthy ocean. It's what we need for a healthy planet. So a huge shout out to our classrooms. Thank you to those classrooms who were able to join us today. I'll send the link to all the classrooms who weren't able to. We'll get it to your inboxes. So a shout out to you as well. And again, Julie, thanks so much for being with us on this Friday.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. And this is an incredible series. Thanks for doing this.
All right, we're going to sign off for today. We hope to see you in some future events as October rolls along. But for now, we'll say have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, we're off air.